Well, it has been a tough go for President Biden this week, and to top it all things off, he is now tested positive for COVID. He received the diagnosis while on the campaign trail in Las Vegas. The White House says he is experiencing mild symptoms and is recovering at his home in Delaware. Meantime, he has canceled all of his events in Nevada, one of several swing states this election season. Marissa?
Stephen, thanks so much. The president's diagnosis comes amid a summer COVID surge, with much of the DMV experiencing a wave of infections. In fact, Maryland is one of 7 states reporting a, quote, high level of cases. The new flirt variant is believed to be a driving force behind that. So we want to bring in infectious disease expert Dr. Amesh Adalja to explain more. Thank you so much for joining us, doctor. Let's talk about this recent surge. I read about the new variant, but also heat being potentially a factor. What do you make of it, and how concerned should we be?
We've seen these types of summer surges almost every year that we've been with COVID. And what it actually is related to are new variants that continue to evolve, like the flirt variants, coupled with people trying to seek shelter from the heat by going indoors where we know the virus transmits more readily. So this is always what's been happening every summer, and the whole country is having increased levels of COVID. So it's not surprising that the president got caught up in that.
Okay. Well, is our immunity to the virus waning? And if so, would you recommend that everyone gets new shots?
The immunity to the virus is always going to wane over time, and it's also going to be a factor that's related to new variants that evolve, that evade some of the immunity. So it is important, if you're a high-risk person like President Biden, to make sure that you're up to date on vaccines. For the average risk person, I think most of them can wait until fall until we get a new version of this virus. But any high-risk condition, you should make sure that you're up to date with the vaccine.
Those are the high-risk individuals. What about children heading back to school in the fall? What's your recommendation?
I think what we want to see is when the new vaccine comes out, and I think some children may benefit from getting the updated vaccine in the fall. I think we want to see what the variants are doing and how well matched the vaccine that's going to be released in the fall is to what's circulating in the fall. This virus is still evolving pretty rapidly, so we want to make sure that people actually get benefit from the vaccine and that it's not a mismatch. But if you're high risk, yes, the vaccine is going to protect you against severe disease. The lower risk people, I think we can wait and see exactly what the match looks like.
I'm headed to a large-scale conference in about a week and a half, 5,000 people expected. And just yesterday, I received a notification that masks are not required, but strongly encouraged in all capital letters. Should we start wearing our mask again?
I think it all depends on your individual risk tolerance. If you're somebody that has any high risk condition, you have to recognize if you're in a group of people, like 5,000 people, COVID is going to be there with you, and you might want to use a mask when you're in those crowded indoor congregated areas. For lower risk people, I think it's all kind of depends on how much they're trying to avoid getting COVID. This is an endemic respiratory virus that's going to be with us in perpetuity, and people have to figure out exactly what level of risk is acceptable to them, and that's going to differ from person to person.
All right, Dr. Adalja, thank you so much for this. We really appreciate your time and expertise. Stephen.